Let's take a look at how we can draw a scatter plot using plotly library in Python. So first thing, we'll open command prompt. Here we will verify the Python version, and we can see we have Python installed and I can run the pip command. Next thing, I can type in pip install, then I can type in plotly, and also there is option plotly-express. Both of them you should install. Next thing, you can also install pandas, right? And then we also have Jupyter-lab, right? Once we are installing these two packages, we are good to go, right? Now the thing is, it should open Jupyter-lab dashboard in one of the browser, and it will give me access to this notebook. I can open it, and here you see I'm going to import pandas as pd and import plotly.express as px, right? Then I will use figure equals to px.scatter. Now within this function I can use x set to say 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? So we got x covered. Next thing, we can go for y, right? So say 16, 8, 4, 2, 1, 0, right? Some of these values I can push in. Then I can use figure.show, and that should also run the scatter plot, right? You see values for x and y. Plotly will also show you its own set of tools to manipulate the plot properties like zoom in, zoom out, right? There is also box select, lasso select, then auto scaling, right? And also taking the screenshot of your plot, right? Now if I want to change some of the things, say like adding the title, I can do so, right? I can use scatter plot, right? So if I run this, it should add scatter plot as title. I can also add xy axis custom name as labels, right? Equals to so we have x, then x dash axis, right? And then we also have y. That too I will have to take it within single quote, and then y dash axis. And now I am ready to run this. Notice x axis and y as custom label as well, right? Now the thing is, I will have to also add the color using group values, right? So for that I will have to create my own data frame, right? So to create data frame, I can use df as my data frame name, and then pd from the pandas I can call for data frame, right? And within that I can simply use x, right? And then I can use 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? So once we have value for x, I can also have value for y. That too I will have to take from single quote, and then within square bracket I can push the values like previously I did 1684, then 2, then 1, and then 4, right? So we have our x and y values. There is also group value that I will have to add as well, right? So for that I can use say something like 10, right? Keep taking that within single quote, 10, then 1, then 0, then 1, right, then again 0, then 1, right. So everything we have taken so far. The thing is, I will also have to close the bracket, right. So let's see, if I use this, I will have to close the curly bracket as well. Now next thing, let's move on to figure where I can use px for plotting our scatter plot. So scatter function should take my data frame, also can set x to x and y equals to y, right, and then I can use color for group, right. So when we are plotting particular group values for color, you can pass it like this. Now run it, and as you can see, the values, you can even hover over those points within scatter plot and you will get value visibility as well, right. Now there is one more thing. Instead of group, if you see a particular color within y, you will get plot changed accordingly. On the extreme right, you will also get the color bar for changes in y color, so it will feel like a gradient color, right. Then there is also making change for get your symbol by group. So if we type in, instead of color, if we choose symbol, and we set it for group, you would find your plot that looks something like this, right. The thing is, we can also size manipulate here by putting the size parameter, right. So if I choose color for group like we previously did, we also added size and then pass y, and we run this, and notice our size of scatterplots dot will change based on values of y, right. So we managed to create a basic scatter plot. We also changed the label and titles. We also sorted the scatter plot based on color by group, then color by variable, then symbol by group, then also adjusted the size of symbols based on our y variable values, right. You can also mess with some of the opacity values. So 0.5 is my value set, so notice that double comma, right. So that should be looking like this, right. So it will even show you the transparency here, right. Now we can draw the scatter plot with margin plot. So to do that, what we can do is, let's get rid of everything up to this point, right. Now here what we can do is type in marginal underscore x equals to box, and then marginal underscore y equals to box, right. So x and y marginal values for margin plot, right, and it should look something like this, right. Similarly, you can do so with histogram. So here instead of box, you can simply type in histogram, right. If you run this, you will have your histogram that looks something like this, right. Then there is violin plot, right, that you can also do with the marginal x and y values, right. So it should look something like this. Then there is marginal values for rug, so it should show you the change like this, right? So if you hit enter, it should reflect in that as well, and check at the top and on the extreme right. So we have seen how to create the basic plot, manipulate title labels, then draw the plot based on your group values. Then we adjusted with some of the marker values. We also adjusted with various options of color by variable, by group, then symbol by group, and then by variable. We also adjusted opacity. Then we also created 4 different plots: margin plot, histogram, rug plot, and violin plot. So we pretty much covered the basics of our scatter plot with plot library in Python.